close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I've been away for a few days. I was really sick. I was in the hospital. They're talking about wanting to do surgery to repair hernia in the top of my stomach. So I have to call the general surgery clinic to get that scheduled. But I'm praying that I don't have to have surgery, because I don't want nothing invasive. I'm just praying that it shrink on its own. I don't know. But you guys, I was so sick. It took me so long to get well. When I tell you, I was so weak. I was so nauseous. I could not lift my head up for long. Like, I literally tried everything to just stay positive and motivated, and I just didn't even have the energy, like, after I came home, to do any videos. So I'm gonna be able to start working out again, and I'm not gonna let that stop me, because I really want to get this weight off me. But those 5 days in the hospital, man, it was rough, because at first they didn't know what was going on until they did a CT scan and found out I had a hiatal hernia, and but it was causing a lot of problems. Like, I was having a lot of nausea and vomiting, and then on top of that, I had a, wait for this car to pass. Then after that, I had, on top of that, I had a gastrointestinal virus. So I know it's TMI. I had a gastrointestinal virus on top of that. So I was having nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. I was weak. Had blood in my stool. It was just so much going on, you guys. And so, so I was in the hospital for 5 days. And during those 5 days, when I tell you, the enemy was literally trying me. So, you know, I started thinking about my mom. I was getting really depressed, because my mom, you know, my mom was always there through everything with me. I mean, everything. And but my mom was there for everything with me. And when she passed, a part of me left. Like, you guys, during that 5 days, even after I came home from the hospital, all the way up until, I want to say probably Wednesday of last week, I was so depressed, because all I wanted was my mom. And it'll be 4 years in November that she's been gone. And I think, you know, I talked to you guys about it at the beginning of my videos. You know, my mom passed from COVID in 2020. And I started thinking about, like, how she passed and the things that, you know, led up to everything. And I'm gonna try not to cry through this video. But my mom was my everything. My mom had me at 16, so she was young. We grew up together. My granny, you know, basically raised me when I was young. And so, you know, when I got older, when I was 10 years old, I think I told you guys, because my mom was on drugs and stuff like that, she couldn't really take care of me and my sister, so my grandmother got guardianship of us. And but my mom was, you know, always around, always there, you know. And so from time to time, my mom would live with us, and my mom would, I mean, we loved our mom. When I tell you, my mom had the biggest heart, and she loved us so much. She loved us so much. And my mom would do anything for me and my siblings. Anything that she can in her power. My mom would make it happen. Listen, my mom was from Detroit, so she was a hustler. My mom made things happen. So anytime we needed anything, my mom always made sure that she got it for us. And so, you know, I started thinking, because when my mom was in a hospital, well, before my mom went into the hospital with COVID, we had a big argument because my grandmother had COVID, and she wanted to go to my grandmother's apartment to help take care of her. And I told my mom no, because my mom already had underlying health conditions, and I did not want her to catch COVID because I knew that it would be bad for her. So we got into this big argument. She was like, you don't want me to go take care of my mom? And I was like, you know what? You do what you want to do. I'm trying to protect you from getting sick. So okay, so it was so much noise outside, but you know, so you know, I told my mom, I was like, you know, you do what you want to do. You go down there, you go take care of Granny. But like I said, I did not want her to go down there because I knew that my mom would get sick, because she had asthma really bad and she had COPD, and she was already in and out the hospital with, you know, with that. So my mom went down there, and my mom was not even down there 3 days, and my mom got sick. You know, she started vomiting, and she just wasn't feeling well. So my sister picked her up and took her back home. And so I didn't even know she went to the ER. So she called me, and well, she called us, and she said that she was at the ER and she tested positive for COVID. And so I was like, oh my freaking goodness, that was my fear. That was my worst fear. Like, so, you know, me and my mom was still arguing, and me and my mom had arguments all the time. And, you know, we would make up and say, I love you and all this. And so me being stubborn, you know, we was just going back and forth. I mean, for weeks. And I don't even really remember what all of the arguments was about, but we just kept bickering back and forth. And so, you know, my mom, she called me every day, and I would talk to her being sarcastic, and so I'm trying to get through this. Okay. So when she was, so my thoughts are off track. So she was in the hospital. We would talk every single day. Even though me and my mom would still bicker, we would still talk every single day, because I wanted to make sure my mom was good. My mom, you know, gave the doctors, well, I was my mom's emergency contact. I think all of us was, all her children was, but the doctors would call me every day to, you know, give me an update, ask me about her medications, you know, things and that, because me and my mom lived the closest than my other siblings. So I was always with my mom, and I knew all about her health care. I knew about her medications. I knew about all that. So they would call me, and give me updates. So this one day I was working, and I was in training for a new position. So I was at work, and the doctors called me, and I had just talked to my mom. Me and my mom was talking, and the doctors had called me and asked me about her medications on that day as well. And so this call seemed a little different than, the other calls that we had. And so I talked to my mom. It was my lunch break, and I talked to her, and like I'm doing this video, this is how me and my mom was talking. My mom didn't seem like she was in any distress or anything, but I know how COVID works because I had COVID, and I know how quickly it can like mess with your respiratory system. And so me and my mom was talking during my lunch break. Right after my lunch break, the doctor called me, and he said I had to intubate your mom and put her in an induced coma. And so we were only able, well, before that, I asked him, I said, why didn't you call me before you did that? He said it happened so fast that they could not call anyone. They had to immediately do what they had to do to try to, save my mom. So I think it was like November, I don't know, maybe November 15th or something. I don't remember. It was around that time. But I know my mom was on the ventilator. She was in induced coma for probably 10 days or a little over 10 days. And the last conversation me and my mom had, it was the day before, which was a Thursday, because it was a Friday when I talked to her, and they put her in that induced coma and put her on a ventilator. So on that Thursday, I went to the lab. I had to go get blood drawn, and me and my mom was talking, and she said something to make me mad. And before we got off the phone, she was like, I love you. And I said it sarcastically. I was like, yeah, I love you too. And so then the next day, which was a Friday, I was at work. Like I told you guys, I was on my lunch break talking to my mom. And after my lunch break, the doctor called and said they had to put her in induced coma and put her on a ventilator. Now, the beginning of the year in January, something similar happened to my mom. My mom, like I said, she had asthma and COPD. So this time, and this is what I'm telling you guys, me and my mom argued all the time, but we loved each other, and I would still do anything for my mom. Like, I'd be like, oh, I'm not doing nothing for my mom. I'm not talking to her no more. I don't care what happened. But I turn around and do what I need to do for her, because that's my mom and I love her. Like, my mom would drop anything to do for me. Yes, I would be mad in that moment because me and my mom would argue about crazy stuff, but we would literally make up, say we love each other, and just go back as normal mother and daughter would. So in January, I didn't talk to my mom for a couple of days, and sometimes that's normal. My mom, we won't talk for a couple of days, but past 2 days, no, that's not normal at all. So the second day I didn't hear from her, my girl's godmom, called to see how we was doing, and she's like, you talked to your mom? And I'm like, no. I said, I tried to call her yesterday, she didn't answer. So then I said, I'm gonna call her when I get off the phone. And I called her, no answer. So I was like, the first thing I thought was the hospital. I'm like, I know she's not in the hospital again. It didn't call me. But my mom always called when she go to the hospital. There's never been a time that she didn't call when she was in the hospital. So she called, no. So I called the hospital and they said, yes, she's here. She's in ICU. And I'm like, ICU? They said, yeah, she was rushed to the hospital 2 days ago. They said that they couldn't give me much information. They would transfer me to the ICU floor. So the nurse, I got to the nurse when I called the floor, and he said that they had to put her in induced coma and put her on a ventilator. And I just bust out crying and I freaked out. I'm like, you have her children information on an emergency contact list. None of us was called about this. So I immediately called my sister and my brother. Me and my sister went up to the hospital. My mom was literally laying there lifeless, you guys. And I called all my family. I called my grandmother. And so we believe, well, even the doctors believe my mom had COVID then, but, in January, they didn't declare it a pandemic. They said she had pneumonia. They said she had influenza A and B. So we had to wear a mask. We had to wear a gown. We had to wear gloves when we were in there with her. And when we was in the ICU floor, it was so many people passing away on the floor, and they were saying it was from pneumonia. Excuse me, but I believe it was from COVID. But like I said, they didn't declare it a pandemic. So my mom, me and my sister, we took turns at the hospital with her. My brother, he lived a few hours away, so he wasn't able to make it, but he FaceTimed. And with his job, it was so demanding, it was hard for him to get off, but he FaceTimed. We kept him informed. And so we was talking to my mom and, hoping that she hear us. And she was on a ventilator for 10 days. And then they, I think it's called extubated. They extubated her off of the ventilator, and she did well. And so my mom, we was asking my mom, so were you able to hear us? And she said yes. And I said, what did you see, when you was in the coma? Because we wanted to know, what it was like. What did you see? What did you hear? She said she heard all of us. Like, we could see her eyes moving. She wasn't moving or anything, but we could see her like eyes moving around. But she was just lifeless on the ventilator. They had her in a coma. And she said she saw Jesus and R. Kelly. You guys, I almost fell out of my chair when I was in that hospital room. And anybody that's watching this channel or this video know that my mother loved R. Kelly. She loved him. And so when she was in a hospital in November, we were thinking she gonna pull through. She pulled through in January. We was just praying. We had her pastor, everybody praying. And so it was Thanksgiving. I was in my house because, we couldn't go up there. So we only was able to see her on video, and we were praying that she could hear us, on video chat. So they let us do the video chat every single day. They kept us updated with her health every single day. They called us and informed us about everything. It was one doctor telling us she was doing really good. It was another doctor telling us she was doing really bad. While she was in a coma, she started developing tons of blood clots. It was so many blood clots that they had to rush her to the OR to try to put a filter basket in her so they can capture the blood clots. But she started declining on the table, so they had to close her up. They couldn't finish it. So it was Thanksgiving. I was sitting at my table and I was chopping up some stuff to make dressing, and all of a sudden I felt this gush of air come past my back, and I felt something touch me. I literally felt something touch my shoulder, and I was like, I pray my mom not gone, but it just felt like she was. And so the day after Thanksgiving, the doctor told us that they're going to start weaning her off of the medication that had her in a coma because they wanted to see if she had any brain activity. Oh, now, mind you, while she was in there, her kidney started failing, so they had her on dialysis that went around the clock because her kidney started failing. They had her on all these machines, and so machines to control her blood pressure. I mean, it was so many machines. All I know was the machine to control her blood pressure. It was so much stuff in there, attached to her. Then I know it was the dialysis machine in there that was going around the clock. And so when I'm trying to think. So when they did when we had the video and the doctor was updating us, he said, it doesn't look good, but we're going to, see if she have any brain activity. So on November 30th at I think it was 4 something or 5 something in the morning, November 30th, 2020, the doctor called me and said, your mother is passing away. If you guys want to see her for the last time, you have to be up here with the next couple of hours. So I immediately called my sister and my brother. My brother was not able to come. So I called, and my sister, they got up there so fast, and I was by the hospital, like I said, because me and my mom wasn't that far from each other. And when we got to the hospital, we had to gown up really good. We had to wear these fitted masks over our face. We had to wear face shields, gowns, 2 pair of gloves. They really had us gowned up. And okay, I'm trying to get through this video, you guys. I'm trying to get through this video. But we were able to stay in there with my mom. And so when we talked to the doctor, we said, when are you guys going to stop the medication so we know if she have any brain activity? He said, we already stopped it. I said, but nobody told us. Nobody didn't tell us that she didn't have any brain activity. It was so many open holes through all of this, and
it was just so many open holes through all this. And even before my mom got put in an induced coma, like, my mom is so feisty, you guys. And if my mom was here right now and I would be doing my videos, you guys would see the personality that my mom had. Me and my mom was totally day and night. I'm so reserved and laid back, and like I said, if you told me today that I would be doing videos, I would think everybody in the world would be lying, because that's how, you know, quiet I am. And so I'm starting to get out of my shell, but God put on my spirit, you know, to do these videos, and that's what I'm doing. And so when before my mom got put into this induced coma in November, she was saying how they were treating her, how they wouldn't feed her. And I'm not sure if it was because of, you know, her health, what was going on. I'm not sure. But she just kept cussing the nurses and doctors out. She said that she wanted to go to the other hospital. And I'm not naming these hospitals, but she wanted to go to the other hospital. And she kept saying that she wanted to be discharged. She wanted me to come and pick her up and take her to the other hospital. But because of my health condition, I didn't want to subject myself to COVID again, because I almost died twice from COVID. You know, I was in ICU both times. But I wish that I would have called the EMS, called somebody to transfer her to the other hospital, because after she said that, that's when she got put in the induced coma. And so when we was at the hospital, you know, we was still talking to my mom, you know, holding her hand, rubbing her, everything. And you know, we were holding her. We were able to see her. And so after, you know, we were in there, she passed at 6:26 in the morning. They took her off of everything, and as soon as they stopped the machine, she completely, everything just flatlined. I mean, everything, you know. So and it's still so hard each and every day. It's so hard. And I know for a lot of you who lost your moms, you know how hard it is. And especially, you know, don't even matter, you know, the relationship sometimes you and your mother had. Me and my mom, like I said, we argued all the time, but when I tell you we loved each other, my mom loved us unconditionally. People that my mom would introduce to us that we've never even known, they would already tell me my name. They were like, "Oh, you're Tamisha. Your mom always talk about you." Like, my mom talked to us about everybody. My mom, when I tell you, you would think that we were made of gold. That's how much my mom loved us and talked about her kids. And so, you know, we were able to stay there. And so we had to step out of the room because they stopped the machines. They had to cut the one of the lines from the ventilator, that the tube, and so they had to clamp it So, no, I guess no secretions or anything would come out and we get exposed to it. So, once they clamped it and did all of that, for a few minutes, we were able to go back in the room, and we watched through the window while they did that. And when I tell you guys, that was the hardest thing, to see my mom laying there and to leave the hospital and know that she was not coming back home. Know that she was not just popping up at my house, us having barbecues on the weekend, in the summertime, just my mom being there to take care of me when I was sick. My mom, it's just so hard for her not being here. And when I was sick, like, I really needed my mom. I needed that comfort. I needed her rubs. I needed her hugs. I needed her I love you to get me through, because it's nothing like your mother touch and hug and kiss and I love yous. And my mom would stay at the hospital when I would be admitted in the hospital. My mom would stay there and stay the night with me. Every time I was admitted, my mom was right there. And so, yeah, so that's why I haven't been on, for just about a week, because I was really down. I'm just getting my energy back. I was on nausea medication for about 4 days after I got out of the hospital, because I literally could not eat. I couldn't keep anything down. I was so sick. I had lost 12 pounds because just in those 6 days, because I was not able to eat anything. And so, thank you guys for listening to me, and just love on your mom. Who you guys who moms are still living, I'm telling you, because the little arguments that you have, like I said, some of the arguments I don't even remember what it was about. It's just so petty. And when she's gone, and it's no coming back. And all you're here with is memories and pictures and heartache and trying to get through day-to-day living, and trying to get through grief. When I tell you guys, I am doing so much better. When my mom passed, and I would not make this up, for over a year, I cried every single day. It was not one day I did not cry. Every single day I cried. It was so hard. I would say even going into the second year, and I was in grief counseling, and it was helping, and I have gotten so much stronger. But this hospital stay and how sick and weak I was, I just really needed my mom. But please love on your mothers. If you have to make up with your mom, make up with your mom. Even if you don't want to apologize to your mother, okay? I'm telling you. Even if your mother is stubborn like my mom was. Even because sometimes both of y'all can be stubborn. Me and my mom, we were so stubborn. My mom was a Taurus, I was a Scorpio. I don't believe in zodiac signs. I don't, look into that stuff. But people say, Scorpios and Taurus don't get along. I don't know. But me and my mom, we got along, but we argued. And it's nothing that I wouldn't do for my mom, even when she made me mad. And my sister would tell me over and over again, I would say so many mean things about my mom. And my sister would be like, you need to stop talking like that. You need to stop saying that. And I'm like, I don't care. And now I have prayed and asked God to forgive me, and even in the midst of me being angry, you know, after I said what I said, you know, mean things to my mom, I would ask God to forgive me, because the type of heart that I have, and I know that that is not of God. You disrespecting your parents, you know. And so I literally had to ask God to forgive me. And even during my grieving time, I just kept asking God to forgive me. I would cry every day. I would ask my mom to forgive me, because me and my mom would literally say I love you, and it just felt like my I love you was not genuine. And I would give anything to just say I love you from the bottom of my heart to my mom. And to this day, I still feel like I don't have closure, because I didn't get the genuine I love you to give to her. She gave it to me. Every time my mom said I love you, regardless of, you know, the things, you know, that we was going through. And my mom was always genuine about her love. But I would give anything to just get that genuine. And I think that's why, you know, I don't have closure. And I really pray that I will eventually one day feel like I have closure, and everybody tell me, you know, your mom loved you, and you know, your mom know that you loved her. Your mom know that you loved her. And I know my mom know that, but I wanted to hear that, you know. But this is my story, and my testimony of what I went through. I pray that this story would help somebody, heal their relationship with their mother or even their father. I really pray that this was help someone. Until next time, have a blessed day.